Okay, people, we're back. Just got done checking out a super fun board from Bataleon. It's the Stereo Team. Stoked to tell you all about it. Had a super fun day, ripping around Brighton. Let's get into it.
Get to the chopper!
Check out how she comes.
Check it out.
Before we dive into this review, I just gotta ask you guys, have you ever ridden a 3D shaped board? Well, this was my kind of first proper time checking one out. And I gotta tell you, I was a little kind of weirded out at first by it and just didn't know what it was gonna feel like and had a lot of questions going into this review. But what I found out really surprised me. Okay, for flex, we have a 6 out of 10. For the profile, this is just a standard true camber profile, and they've rated it with a medium height camber. So board's got some good pop for sure. And real quick, a little thing about the Stereo Team, it's also available in women's sizes. So definitely if you're looking for a women's board, check that out as well. Bumping through some key features, we have a light core. It's a wood core with 50/50 poplar and paulina wood. The base is an Ultra Glide S base from Bataleon. It's a premium high grade base. You know, it's fast, it's tough, it's durable, it holds wax. It's one of their top of the line bases. On the inside for glassing, we're looking at a biax weave laminate. So you got a weave running north and south and east and west on both sides of the core. Within the layup, we have carbon stringers that run pretty much underneath your feet. I could definitely tell these. I could feel it, you know. It added some stiffness to the nose and tail and also some increased pop when I was ollieing. The special sauce in this core is they have some CST tubes, you know, milled into it. So, you know, what those things are is basically just like vertical tubes. They kind of like perforate the core almost, and they definitely lighten up the board and dampen the board a little bit with also adding some more durability within the core. One of the coolest features on this board, I think, is the high cap construction. I rode a lot of capped snowboards in the late 90s and early 2000s before everything kind of transitioned back to like more of a sandwich construction, which is just a flat top sheet with a sidewall that meets the edge and base. What a cap is the top sheet blends over the sidewall and meets the edge here. So it's really clean and really smooth. It's got like a little bit different feel, you know, when you're turning. That's when I notice it the most. And then also around the tip and tail, it does transition back to having a sidewall. So it's got a flat tip and tail here. And instead of using just like the standard ABS material that, you know, pretty much everybody uses on sidewalls, they've used a urethane, which is basically the same material they use for skateboard wheels, which, you know, it didn't even occur to me that that was even something that could be used on a snowboard. But with urethane, you know, it absorbs a lot of vibration, you know, and is also durable and really flexible. So, you know, it kind of gets rid of that unwanted chatter or vibration that nobody likes around the tip and tail. All right, let's talk some side cut. On this Stereo Team, this board features Bataleon's multi-sync side cut. It's like a multi-radii side cut built into the board. It adds control, a lot of grip, and is super responsive going edge to edge. Let's dive in quick here to really highlight what sets this board apart from the rest. It is Bataleon's 3BT, triple base technology, and the SideKick. Both of these technologies are patented by Bataleon. You know, they've shaped and molded the tip and tail of this board, you know, so it's convex on the base and then concave on the top sheet in both the nose and the tail. And what this does is it kind of like allows you to like transition quicker, and you know, kind of relieves a lot of the pressure on the contact points in the powder. It helps you float. The nose and tail feature a low kick 2.0. We have a centered stance on the side cut here, and the nose and tail width is a 25.5 in the waist and a 29.9 on the nose and the tail. And just so we're clear, this is the 156 centimeter. So those specs are gonna change, obviously, when you vary in size, either going bigger or smaller. This was the first time I've ever even checked out a 3D shaped board, which was pretty cool experience. You know, I didn't really know what to expect going in. I did notice that it was really smooth, going edge to edge, really responsive, and it didn't really feel like I had many hang-ups, and it was easy just to kind of get into a butter on my nose or tail. And it was, you know, a little bit saucier than normal, so I kind of had to get used to it at first. This is a great all mountain board, I think. You know, it's twin shaped, you know, so really versatile as far as like going in the park and being able to hit the steel, hit the jumps, whatever, and then also just ripping around the groomers and hitting side hits and carving up some corduroys. I also got it into the trees a little bit, you know, making super tight and quick turns. Felt super responsive. You know, that dished nose and tail, I could definitely feel when I was going through tight trees of just how easy it was kind of fitting into the bank turns. Towards the nose and tail, I could definitely feel that those stringers added a little bit of stiffness. You know, I definitely had to get used to it pressing a little bit, but I really noticed this board had a lot of pop. Super good, solid ollies. I really felt like it was just like snapping on command. Yeah, and with the high cap, great board for turning. You know, just being able to get it up on edge, holding an edge, didn't feel any type of chatter. One of the things that really stood out to me was the swing weight. Super light nose and tail. Like it felt poppy. It felt like, you know, just like kind of moving it around, you know, flipping it from forward to switch felt really easy, and it was light towards the tip and tail. Definitely didn't feel any lag or hang-ups, you know, when I was transitioning. Just felt really good underneath my feet. You know, it's funny, this board is kind of built for freestyle, built for park or all mountain or whatever, but it turned really well. You know, I was like up there, fresh cords, super good snow, you know, with the high cap construction, you know, getting back on a cap snowboard, I was like, oh yeah, I remember how this feels, like getting it up on edge, super easy to just really lay and push into the turn with comfort and confidence. And oddly enough, what I really loved about this board was I was able to use the nose as a bit of a shovel. You know, it's got this concave nose, and being able to like put up a little lip, smack it down. This thing doubles as an amazing side hit builder. So whoever came up with this technology, you didn't even really know that you also made a great shaping and shoveling board. Being Ethan Morgan's pro model, you know this thing is gonna handle the streets. You know it's gonna rip the park. But what really surprised me about this board was how well it handled all over the mountain. On the cords, on the pow, on the side hits. You know, if that's speaking to you, I definitely think you should give this one a look. Typically I ride a directional board, but this board being a twin tip, you know, and thinking like, okay, I'm gonna be a little more centered on the board and it might be a little harder to keep my nose up. This board held up in the powder. So I can see someone that wants to ride a bit of park and hit the steel, but also doesn't want to sacrifice too much in the pow and on cliffs and everything. I think this board is an all-around weapon. Triple base technology, I was definitely down. You know, it's something that I'm backing. So definitely give it the bomb-proof stamp of approval. If you're into checking out a board like this, I definitely say pick up the Stereo Team and give it a look. Just want to thank you guys for joining me on this review of the Stereo Team 156 by Bataleon. And I want to thank you guys for all of the comments on our YouTube channel. You know, I'm gaining a lot of insight and knowledge, and I love to hear about your experience. So if you got a little bit of experience with this board or anything like it, drop a comment. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear it. Definitely do my best to reply. If you have any questions, do you want me to review anything? Hit us up. Let's talk about it. See you on the next review.
Get to the chopper!